Good morning, all. Welcome to your morning yoga practice. I'm excited to take you through this practice this morning to get the body warmed up and ready to meet the day. Morning yoga practice. I even wore my morning yoga pants today, very loud, very bright pants I've got on just to get my spirits up and started. So morning yoga practice is really important, and for me it helps to set my day off on the right foot. And really what yoga is about is coming home to connect with ourselves. And so when we can start our day by connecting with ourselves, we can bring that throughout the rest of our day to help keep us grounded, help keep us connected to us, right? So just as the sun rises and falls, so does the natural rhythms within us. They also rise and fall. And the sun comes up to warm the earth and meet the day. And that's what our morning yoga practice does as well. Our morning yoga practice warms the body, getting it ready to meet the day. So we're going to begin our day with openness in peace. And that's what this practice provides for us. I'm going to have everybody just lay down with your back on your mat. Extending the legs, arms down beside the body. From here, you're going to press the heels and the legs into the ground firmly. Feeling the activation of all those leg muscles, pressing into the mat. Then we're going to spread the toes while we're pressing the legs into the mat. Part the feet about 6 to 8 inches and drop the feet open, releasing the legs. Turn your shoulder blades under on the mat, but don't pitch them together. Keep the chest broad and open. From here, I invite you to close your eyes. You're going to feel the skin of the forehead, the face, the corners of the mouth, all relax down towards the floor. You're going to bring your hands to your thighs. Here we're going to connect with our breath. Inhaling through the nose, filling the cylinder of the body, belly, ribs, chest, and exhaling, letting it go. Feeling the natural rhythm of the breath like a wave through the body. Inhaling and exhaling. Observing the breath. Knowing that this is the breath we want to take through for our practice. Using the breath as a bridge between the mind and the body. From here, we're going to take one hand to our pelvic belly and one hand to our solar plexus. Inhale deeply right down to the pelvic belly. Feel the rise and the fall of the solar plexus. Feel the rise and the fall of both the pelvic belly and the solar plexus, like a gentle wave through the body. We're going to bring the hand on the pelvic belly to the heart, connecting the solar plexus to the heart. Feel the rise of the solar plexus and the rise of the chest and the heart. the fall of the solar plexus and the fall of the chest and the heart. Breathing together. And bring the hand from our solar plexus to our throat. Just gently on our throat. One hand on the throat, one hand on the heart. Connecting the breath between heart and throat. Take the hand from the heart and place it on the forehead. One hand on the throat and one hand on the forehead. Taking 2 inhales and exhales here. From here, you're going to take the heels of the palms and place them over the eyes. Feeling the eyes rolling backwards into the sockets, getting a complete release. And release the arms down beside us. Here we're going to bring the legs together and press them into the ground firmly once more. Inhale our arms up to our sides, overhead, and exhaling down. We're going to inhale our arms now up to the side and bring them together in front of us. Bringing their arms up overhead now, extending over the head. And as we release the arms down, we're going to bring the right knee to the chest. You got it. Getting a nice hug into that chest with the knee. We're going to take the right knee into the left hand and guide it across the body to the left. And inhale back to center, taking the knee in the right hand and dropping the right knee out to the side. Inhale back to center, hug the right knee into the chest one more time, and extend back along the ground. Inhaling, arms up overhead, exhaling and bringing the left knee to the chest, wrapping the arms around that leg, hugging that knee into the chest, keeping the feet nice and active here. We're going to take the left knee in the right hand and we're going to guide the leg across to the body to the right. On the inhale, we're going to come back to center. Take the knee in the left hand and we're going to guide the leg open. Nice opening in the hips here. See if your shoulders are crawling up towards your ears or if they're staying nicely down the back. Inhaling, knee back to center. Give it one last little hug. And then we're going to exhale both legs down. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together and bring the knees up in a reclined cobbler's pose. Some call this butterfly as well. We're going to bring our hands to our thighs here, the tops of our thighs, and we're going to press our thighs away from us to get a nice little stretch and extension in that low back. On your next inhale, we're going to inhale, bringing the legs up, knees into the hands, so that our shins are parallel to the ground. Bring the knees together here and coming into the chest. Wrapping our arms around our knees here. We're going to inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to bring our head to the knees. And let it go. Taking the arms out to a T shape. We're going to inhale and drop the knees out to the right. You might have to take a little shift in the hips. That's what I do here. And just hover about 1 inch off the ground here. Using those core muscles, maintaining the natural curve of the spine. Remembering it's morning time, so you might feel a little stiff, and that's okay. Inhaling back to center. This is your yoga practice. So if anything is ever feeling pinchy or painful, you just stop and come out of it. That's not what yoga is about. Inhaling and exhaling. Now we're going to drop the knees open to the left. Keeping them about 1 inch off the ground. And inhaling, coming back to center. From here, we're going to find that strap or that dish towel we were talking about. So if you're just joining us, we got a dish towel or a strap here. We're going to extend the left leg along the ground, bringing the right knee into the chest so that we can wrap that strap or towel around the foot and extend into the leg. If you have to take a generous bend in the knee, that's okay too. Whatever feels good for you in your body. Again, this is connection between you and your body, so feeling into what it feels like. So press into the balls of the toes here as if you were pressing them into the ceiling. Inhale, taking the strap in the left hand, we're going to guide the leg across the body to the left. Just a slight midline, just over the midline. Inhaling back to center, taking the strap in the right hand, we're going to guide the leg over to the right. Keeping that extended foot nice and active as well, we're going to inhale and bring that leg back to center. From here, we're going to bend the knee, bringing the knee to the armpit and getting a nice little stretch in the back of the hip. On your exhale, let it go. Extend along the ground. Inhale, left knee to the chest. Taking the strap around the balls of the feet on the left foot, extending up to the sky. Getting a nice hamstring stretch. Again, if you have your knee bent for comfort, that's okay too. If at any point you start to notice that you're forcing, contorting, or you're holding your breath, just back off a little. Find your breath, and then come back to it with your breath. It's important that the breath helps to guide the body to relax in the stretches, or we're not going to reap the benefits of the yoga practice in the same way. So taking the strap in our right hand, we're going to guide the leg over the body. Inhaling back to center. Taking the strap in the left hand, we're going to guide the leg open. Inhaling back to center. From here, take the strap in both hands and bring the knee to the armpit for a nice stretch in here. So it's okay to bring a little bit of tension on the strap as long as you can still keep your breath nice and open and deep. And we're going to release that. Coming down, we're going to move over onto our belly, so coming over to our side. All right. And from here, we're going to press the tops of the feet into the ground. So this is what's really important about protecting the low back. We'll see this in our sequence and our flow today. So to protect that low back, we want to make sure that we're engaging the legs by pressing the feet into the ground. The knees might lift a little bit off the mat, engaging the legs, engaging the bum, engaging the core. Hands down beside the chest, shoulders down the back, and we're just going to extend the heart forward as we slowly bring ourselves up to a baby cobra. Inhaling here, exhale back down. From here, let's slide our arms in front of us, bringing the hands together, kind of like a triangle shape here. We're going to curl the toes under and get a nice stretch, pressing into the toes as we bring the heart forward, stretch in our feet, in our calves. You might even feel a little stretch in the belly. And on your next exhale, coming back down to center. We're going to bring the hands beside the body here. We're going to curl the toes under and press up to a plank. And back to our downward facing dog, hips to the sky. So walk it out here a little bit. Check in with your calves. Are they tight? The main fact here is we want to try to keep the back as neutral as possible. If we need to take a bend in the knees, that's okay. Finding what feels good for us here. We're going to inhale the right leg up to the sky. Bring that knee to the chest, and we're going to rock our hips to the sky with the knee there. Hugging the core into the belly and pulling that leg through to a lunge. Or however you get to a lunge, whatever works for you is good with me. So we're going to bring the left foot up to meet the right. Finding our hips distance apart. From here, we're going to bring our hands to our knees in a supported chair pose. So as if we're sitting on the edge of a chair. Bringing the arms back a little. Don't jet out the ribs. We want to keep the ribs nice and supported. And we're going to be here just for 3, 2, 1. Coming up to standing. So we're going to find our mountain pose here. So feet, hips distance apart, plugging into the 4 corners of our feet. So starting with the big toe ball mount, coming back to the inner edge of the heel, across and up to the baby toe ball mount, and then back to the back heel. So we're going to do that 4 corners on each foot. From here, we're going to lift and spread our toes. And in yoga, everything comes from the feet to rise, so from root to rise. So finding that yoga feet, that foundation called the Padabandha there, right? Our foot foundation, everything that we do moving upwards has to stem from the feet, like roots of a tree. So finding that solidness there. From there, we're going to make sure that we have some activation and engagement in our legs, that we're not just sitting there, so we have nice active engagement, but we're not locking in the knee joint. So if your hips were like headlights of a car, your feet would be like the tires directly under them. From there, we're going to pull up on the belly of the zipper, which just means we're going to have a slight tuck in the muscle of the core here. And this is really important throughout your yoga practice to protect the back. And a gentle roll of the shoulders onto the back. Not pinching them together, but keeping the chest nice and broad, keeping the ribs not jetting out, but keeping them tucked into the body. And the head hanging over the body like a helium-filled balloon, just light and lifted. This is our mountain pose. This is what we come back to. Thinking of what we stand for in our life that we can stand firmly in our mountain about. So maybe that's love, maybe that's equality, maybe that's peace, maybe it's for your family. Whatever you stand in your mountain about is where you stand in your strength. So finding yourself, you might already be there in your mountain at the top of your mat. We're going to, of course, open the day with our sun salutations. So from here, finding that foot, we're going to lift and spread the toes, finding our core, our gentle roll of the shoulders onto the back, head over the body. We're going to start leading with the pinky fingers, coming up through the air. Shoulders stay out of the ears, and we're going to fold forward, hinging at the hips. Coming all the way down, let the head hang heavy. Inhale, halfway lift, bringing our hands to the shins and gazing forward. On an exhale, folding forward once again. Head hangs heavy. Bringing the hands down beside the feet, we're going to step the right leg back to a lunge. We're going to bring the left leg back to meet it, finding ourselves in our plank. We're going to be here for a moment just to get a little bit of warmth going on. So finding that plank, making sure that our hips aren't high, coming nicely down so that we feel that core activation. From here, we're going to lower the knees down to the mat, and then lowering, bending at the elbows, bringing the body down to the mat. We're going to come into that baby cobra we were talking about before, so pressing into the feet, engaging the legs, engaging the core, bringing the heart forward, gaze forward. On an exhale, coming back down. We're going to curl the toes under, press up to a plank and back to a downward facing dog. Take a moment to walk it out. And then we're going to lift the right leg to the sky. It doesn't need to be high up here. It can just be here. We want to keep the hips square to the mat. Inhale that knee to the chest. Rock the hips to the sky. Pull that leg through to a lunge. Bring the left up to meet the right. Finding our feet, finding our roots. Inhale the arms beside the body like the wings of a plane. Pressing into the feet, hinging at the hips to come up. Extended mountain pose, arms up overhead. Bringing our hands to prayer overhead. Pulling that sunshine from the sky down to our heart. And coming back to our mountain pose. We're going to take that on the other side now. Finding our mountain, finding our roots. Inhaling, leading with the pinky fingers. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward, hinging at the hips. Head heavy. Inhale, halfway lift, arms or hands to the shins. Exhale, forward fold. Bringing the hands down to the ground. Now we're going to step the left foot back. Finding a firm hand position. We're going to bring the right foot back to meet the left. Holding our plank for a moment here. Bringing our knees to the ground. Lowering down the body to the ground. Pressing into the tops of the feet. We're going to come up, shoulders down the back, everything engaged. A baby cobra. Gazing into the horizon. On an exhale, we're going to come back down to the mat. Curl the toes under and pop yourself back up and downward facing dog. Walking it out. You're going to inhale that left leg up to the sky. Bring into the knee to the chest. Well, the knees at the chest, rock the hips to the sky. Pull the core in and bring that left leg through. Right leg up to meet the left. Standing, let's come into a nice forward fold here. Let's hook our arms, hands clasping the elbows, and just hang heavy here. Sending the tops of the legs up to the sky. Notice I have a big bend in the knees here, not straight legs. It's early in the morning, so I'm being gentle with myself. We've been in sleep mode all night. Our body's been pretty static all night. From here, we're going to bring our arms to the sides of our bodies like wings of a plane. Press into the feet to lift the torso up. Arms up overhead. Bringing our hands to prayer and pulling it down towards the heart. Bringing our arms down beside us. We're going to run through one more sun salutation each side, and we're going to try to do it a little bit more with our breath and our inhales and our exhales. If you're inhaling and exhaling in a different pace than what I'm cueing, that's okay. Go with your pace and your breath. Get lost in the movement and the breath of your practice and less focused on if you're doing it right or not. So finding that footing, finding that mountain pose. Leading with the pinky fingers, we're going to inhale, arms up overhead. Don't let the ribs jet out. We want to make sure the ribs stay in, neutral spine. Inhaling, exhaling as we fold forward, sending the hips back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bring the hands to the mat. Step the right foot back to a lunge. Step the left foot back to a lunge. Finding our plank here. Pressing away from the mat, pressing hands into the mat. Lowering our knees. Lowering down with the body. From here, we're going to find our baby cobra, pressing into the feet. On an inhale, lifting and heart forward. Exhale, coming down. Curl the toes under, press into the mat, lift yourself up to a plank, and then back to a downward facing dog. Walk it out. Lift the right leg to the sky. Bring the knee to the chest, rock the hips to the sky, and pull that leg through to a lunge. Left foot up to meet the right, coming into a forward fold. Delta wing the arms beside the body, hinging from the hips, coming up into extended mountain. Hands together in prayer pose, pulling that sunshine down into our heart. Hands beside the body in mountain pose. Setting our feet up, finding our mountain. Four corners of the feet, lift and spread the toes. Here we go, leading with the pinky fingers, arms up overhead. Hinging from the hips, folding forward, send those hips back. Let the head hang heavy. On your next inhale, we're going to inhale, halfway lift, bringing hands to the shins. Exhale, coming down back to a forward fold. Plant the hands down on the mat. On your next inhale, we're going to inhale, left leg back to a lunge. Right leg to meet the left in a plank. Here we go. Exhale, knees to the ground. Lowering chest and chin to the ground. Keeping the arms nice and close to the body here. Press those tops of the feet firmly into the ground. Coming up, here we go, baby cobra. Shoulders out of the ears. Exhale, back down to the ground. Curl the toes under, press up to a plank, and back to a downward facing dog. You got it. Lift the left leg to the sky, bring it into the chest, pull up on the belly of the zipper, rock those hips to the sky, bringing that left leg through to a lunge, right leg through to meet the left. Delta wing the arms beside the body, press into the feet and lift ourselves up. Extended mountain pose. Bring the hands together in prayer pose and pulling that down to our heart. Arms down beside the body. Mountain pose. And just stay here for a moment, tap into your breath and feel the effects of the yoga on the body, on the mind. I'm going to invite you to give you a moment if you want to grab some water or you want to shake it out a little bit. From here, we're going to find our mountain pose once more. We're going to inhale, leading with the pinky fingers up overhead. Exhale, folding forward, hinging at the hips. Finding that forward fold, head hangs heavy. Back of the thighs go up towards the sky. Placing the hands down on the mat, we're going to step the right foot back. And we're going to drop that right heel and foot to the ground on about a 45-degree angle. From here, we're going to lift the torso up, keeping a generous bend in that front knee. We're going to try to square the hips to the front of the mat. So that might mean you need to bring that front or that back leg forward a little bit more. So it's like your feet are railroad tracks beside each other, not right behind each other. So from here, we're going to inhale our arms up overhead, pressing strongly into the back foot and down into that front foot, engaging those legs. If you don't feel it necessarily in the glutes and in the legs, we need to be sinking a little bit deeper. Keeping that back leg nice and straight, coming up, chest open, keep those ribs tucked in, warrior one. Bringing our hands to the hips, I'm going to slide that back foot behind so the inner arch of the back foot is intersecting with the heel of the front foot, so perpendicular, keeping that bend in that knee here. Same thing, we're going to now, I'm facing you guys backwards, taking the hands at the heart, we're going to extend our arms along the side. Keeping the bend in the front knee, we're going to drop that back hand down to the thigh and bring that front palm towards the sky, up, reaching over. You got it. From here, we're going to flow forward, bringing that front elbow to the knee, bringing that right arm open to the sky, turning down towards the ground. You got it. We're going to press that back left foot to meet the right. Walk it out in a downward facing dog. We're going to inhale that right leg to the sky, bringing knee to the chest, rock the hips to the sky, and bring it through to a lunge. We're going to find that same footing of that railroad track. So back foot is a 45-degree angle. Front foot, toes are facing forward. Finding that strength in the legs, we're going to bring and lift the torso from the strength in the legs. Pressing into that back foot, pressing down into that front foot. If you feel anything in the knees here, you just want to adjust your stance and take it a little bit lighter or back off completely. So trying to get our hips square to the front of the mat. We're going to inhale our arms up overhead, coming into a warrior one. Bringing the hands together overhead in prayer, coming down to the chest, or taking the hands to the hips. We're going to look back and slide that back foot so that it's intersecting perpendicular with that front foot, keeping the bend in the front knee, finding that footing. Still hugging up on the zipper of the core here. Hands to the heart center. We're going to take all that love in our heart. We're going to send it out to the world. We're going to look over our front fingers here. We're going to flip that front hand up to the sky, dropping that back hand down to the back thigh, and reaching up, keeping that deep bend in that front knee. Peaceful warrior. Feel the foundation of your lower body holding your top. Coming back over, bringing elbow to knee, left arm extended, and opening up to the sky. From here, we're going to turn down towards the ground, pivot on the back foot, drop the back knee, bring that both knees coming into a tabletop position. Let's bring the toes together, knees wide apart, pressing back into downward facing dog, into child's pose. So coming into your wide leg child's pose here. Head down to the floor. You can even take a block if you have it, or a blanket under the forehead if that feels better, or under the hips if the hips want some extra support this morning. Just knowing that within yoga we always have options. Our body is never the same usually every day. And knowing that using props is more gentleness with ourselves and support for ourselves than it is a crutch. It actually helps our yoga practice get deeper when we use what we need instead of pushing through it or powering through it. Yoga is the opposite. There is no pushing through, powering through, or forcing. It's about connecting. It's about being humble. It's about supporting yourself. From here, we're going to inhale back up, slowly bringing ourselves back. We're going to come down to our bums here, finding our sits bones on the mat, extending the legs out in front of us, Here's where you can have an opportunity to be gentle with yourself, is taking a nice bend in the knees here if you want. You're going to inhale the arms up overhead, keeping the back nice and long. And we're going to exhale, we're going to fold forward over our legs, coming to wherever feels good, whether you hold the back of the legs, the calves, the ankles, or the toes. And from there, we're just going to drop the head down. And breathe here, taking 3 big inhales and exhales. Feels complete for you, we're going to come into an easy cross-legged pose. Again, finding those sits bones, moving the juicy part of our glutes out of the way, finding length in the spine, crown of the head pointed towards the sky. We're going to inhale, hands to the knees, bringing heart forward. Exhale, we're going to round the body back up. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, dropping the head, rounding the body back up. One more time. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, rounding the body back up. We're going to bring our hands to our thighs, and we're going to grip them and externally rotate the thighs up and down. So our thumbs are kind of pointed inwards and our hands are on the outsides, and we're just rotating our thighs outwards. From here, I want you to go ahead and start to gather your things for Shavasana. So whether that's a blanket that you have or an eye pillow, if you want to take a sip of water, maybe you have a favorite essential oil you want to sniff before you start to get settled and get prepared for final resting pose. So you guys are going to come down to the ground. I'm going to hold space for you in a seated position, but I'm going to start with you in that ground space. So take the feet nice and wide. Bring the shoulders together broadly on the back. Take the arms nice and wide. Make sure that you're giving yourself lots of space and room. Blanket is nicely draping you, but not tucking you together forcefully in any way. Just allow the body to fall exactly how it wants to fall in relationship to gravity. This is one of yoga's most powerful poses. It's a very simple pose, but hard for people to do. But just like anything that we practice, we become more experienced and better at. So go ahead and stay laying down in your Shavasana here. And just feel the pull of gravity. Feeling the support of the earth beneath you. Giving the feedback and the signal to all your muscles that it's safe to release all the tension. Your mind is going to want to wander, and that's okay. That's what it was designed to do. But give it something to focus on. Whether that's sensation in the body, or your breath moving in and out, the mind will wander again, and we just bring it back. The mind doesn't control us, we control it. So pulling the concentration back to the breath or the sensation of relaxation. We're going to take a nice cleansing inhale and exhale to relax, release, and let go into Shavasana. I will guide you back from Shavasana when the time is upon us. Enjoy. take your head from side to side along the ground, nice and slowly. Inhale our knees up very gently to the chest. And then dropping over to the right side, coming into a fetal position. Knowing that what we just did in that restorative posture was to bring the nervous system down to a parasympathetic state, which is a healing and resting state. So in order to keep that, we're just going to bring ourselves up slowly by pressing our hands into the mat and allowing our arms to do the work. Coming into an easy cross-legged pose. Bring our attention, maybe bringing the eyes closed or down towards the ground, whatever's comfortable for you. Finding the length in the spine by finding those bones, sips bones on the ground. Crown of the head pointed towards the sky. And we're just going to connect to the feeling that is within us right now. And that might be a feeling of calm. It might not. It might be a feeling of restlessness. We're just going to connect to whatever it is without judgment and let it be okay. It's okay with whatever we're feeling. It's never bad, nor is it good. It just is. When we can accept a feeling, witness it without judgment, it has the permission to pass through more easily. When we start to analyze or attack our feelings, they do the opposite of what we want them to do, and they stay within us. Allowing them to pass through allows us to evolve with our day. So not being attached to even the good feelings like joy and peace, knowing that everything comes and goes. The only constant is change. We're going to inhale our arms to prayer pose at our heart center. We're going to finish our practice with the sound of Om. The most healing frequency for our body is the sound of our own voice. So I invite you, since you're in your own home and not in a big yoga class, to give it a try and see how it feels. We're going to start with an inhale and an exhale for a cleansing breath, and then an inhale and an exhale to the sound of Om in our chanting. You can even use humming. Inhale for a cleansing breath. Inhale for Om. Tucking the chin to the chest. Much gratitude. Namaste, everyone. Om Shanti, Shanti Peace. Thank you for joining me this morning, and thank you for participating in your yoga practice for the morning, getting you warmed up, invigorated, ready to meet the day. I